Hello World Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. And now that March is like half over, let's get started with the March of the Clowns. A month-long, a chunk of the year dedicated to that lovely subgenre of horror, the killer clown movie. Because who doesn't like a psychopathic killer who still knows how to put a smile on their face? Usually with makeup and prosthetics, but nevertheless, this month we're kicking it off with Drive Thru. A low-budget horror flick from the late 2000s, Drive Thru is your classic slasher/clown horror flick. You've got a small group of teens doing teen things, but all of a sudden, a mysterious murderer begins picking them off one by one. And get this, he's a clown! This is one of those cases where the elevator pitch really is the entire plot of the movie. So, let's take a look at Drive Thru and see if they can manage to make this fast food plot somehow satisfying over 90 minutes. We open up to a fresh group of victims, teenagers, deciding what to do.
Where we going, player? Motherfucking Hellaburger, yo! Gonna get a double chili cheese all up in here.
And establishing very quick that yes, they are going to die. Eating fast food is a dangerous enough activity in its own right, but ordering artery-clogging monstrosities is only half their goal. The other half is robbing the damn place.
Yo, Tony, I don't think that's a good idea.
And teenagers making bad decisions is one of the key pillars in horror. Picking the lock with a credit card, he slips in. However, inside he doesn't find anyone working the overnight shift. Still, he doesn't just accept that the money is unguarded, instead trying to find the clown that works there to kill him!
Order up, Buck! Employee of the month's about to fuck you up!
Introducing the big bad of this film. At a smooth 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Even faster if you count the drive-thru. But before we can see what he does with this guy, we move on to the other man of the group, heading in after his friend. Also, something about his order being wrong, but that's not really the worst problem here.
Yo, Holmes, man. Yo, you fucking with me?
How do you not realize he's already dead? What the hell do you think he's doing, bobbing for tater tots? Surprising no one, it turns out he's dead, much like this man is going to be in a second.
Please don't hurt me! My dad's rich, he'll give me whatever you want!
Sorry, homie, that just ain't gonna cut out!
And yeah, he's one of those psycho killers who spends all his time thinking up new and interesting puns to murder people by. Lou, hush. There's no real psycho killers, it's fine. That opening out of the way, it's time to meet the protagonist, Leighton Meester, who plays Mackenzie Carpenter. Yeah, this is one of those low-budget horror movies that thinks it's clever to have just about every character named as a homage to a different, better horror movie. She's partying here with her boyfriend, Fisher Kent, played by Nicholas D'Agosto, but they need some privacy.
I don't remember inviting any Banana Republicans to my party.
Fuck! Jesus Christ!
Yeah, and that's another thing about this movie. It gets political. Like, unnecessarily. I could ignore all of the left versus right rhetoric in this film, and the plot would be completely unchanged. But if I don't bring it up, then I don't really properly represent this movie in the review, as it is a pretty major part in Act 1. Someone being on the right is all the reason in the world you need to hate them. After Act 1, it pretty much never comes up again. After they ensure the jacuzzi is conveniently vacant, the entire party decides to vacate because the police arrive with a noise complaint.
Nothing is going to make me feel better about facing certain death when my parents get home. I stand corrected.
I am so disappointed in you, partying all night, drinking! Do you have any idea what you're doing to your future career prospects?
Dude, do you ever realize that you don't even think about, like, breathing, man? Wild.
Ensuring this horror movie is as generic as possible, they pull out the handy-dandy Ouija board! That way they can talk about how spooky they are and how real it is. Before deciding, fuck it, why bother actually using it anyway?
Party's over, guys.
Oh, come on, it's only like 2:30 shit.
Oh, fuck, that's right, daylight savings time! So everyone leaves, spare Mackenzie and Fisher, so they can talk about the future. How she is upset that he's gonna head off to New York and she's gonna have to stay in Southern California. So...
Oh, masterful spirits. What is going to happen to our pathetic little lives?
We're gonna get really into Beyblade? The board fires up and spells out a gobbledygook assortment of letters and numbers for them. So, trying to keep the viewers somewhat interested, the movie switches back to the botched robbery. Remember the girls? Well, they're still in the van. Oh, come on, man, you forgot your pun. There's something like, curbside order ready for pickup. The crime scene introduces our police characters for this tale. Our competent, commanding detective Brenda Chase, played by Lola Gaudini, and the pudgy punching bag of comic relief, Detective Dwayne Crockers, played by Larry Joe Campbell. They're here to establish that there's a crime scene and the damn press is gonna show up, just in time for us to jump to the morning after the party with the Carpenters. Mackenzie's mother is very upset at her daughter's antics, but her father generally doesn't care. He's far more interested in being somehow entertained by commercials.
Try my new Hella Monster Chili Burger. It's one hella burger.
Living in Texas, I just gotta sit here and wonder, how in the hell can anybody possibly be satisfied with such small portion sizes? But this gets them looking at the TV long enough to see the news flash. There's been a grisly murder. Not only that, but they somehow forgot to blur out the license plate number on that van.
Oh my God.
You know, I'd have been far more convinced that she just remembered it, rather than think that it was so important that she had to write it down on her fucking hand.
Let's hope the police don't find out they were at the party.
Oh, great. They were here?
No. The killing was the opening of the movie. The party scene came after that, or in between with... Well, they were never actually at the party. You know, we're less than 20 minutes into this movie. It's already impossible to follow. They decide the best course of action is to do fuck all and just let the movie play out. That way we can ask the real important questions.
Should I go to class or get baked in the bathroom?
Hi, Mackenzie! All right, weed it is. Prying the magic 8-ball for deeper answers, it just tells her a broken heart before we jump over to her friend and a phone call.
Why don't you come over tonight? We can do some girly shit and you can check out my new ink.
Oh, shit. I forgot. What'd you get?
Oh, I'm not telling.
Clearly, looks about as new as the design of an next-gen Xbox controller. But they shall never have that meetup, for she is captured! Never mind that for a second, it's time to meet the creepy-ass janitor, Lenny, played by Sean Whalen.
Writing one of your famous left-wing, radical, anti-establishment articles for the paper, are you?
Gonna go out on a limb here and guess that we're not supposed to like this guy. After creeping her out adequately enough, it turns out he has brought Mackenzie her missing camera! No word where he got it from, and I hardly remember it being missing in the first place, but if this isn't an invitation to develop some photos, I don't know what is. Got photos of the party, photos of the horrifyingly brutal murder scene, which occurred before the party in that timeline. That's hardly the weirdest thing she develops. I think it's safe to say that continuity just doesn't fucking matter. And she is attacked by the clown at a mere 25 minutes into the movie, so of course this is the one point where Horny is surprisingly inept at his job, letting her slip away, but only to lead her to that saw trap that he set up for her friend. Just press the cancel button, lady. Or if that's somehow not working, unplug the damn thing. Or cry as her friend's frontal lobes are fried before her, so she must run! Movie? Usually you hold on to your red herring until, I don't know, Act 3? And that's enough of this scene, so Mackenzie does go to the cops about this. Unfortunately, they aren't buying her silly eyewitness testimony about a psychopathic killer in a clown suit, preferring to just say the janitor that hung himself is probably the culprit. No investigation necessary. This obviously pisses Mackenzie off to no end, so Crockers does what he does best, and just accuses her of doing drugs.
Our daughter does not do drugs.
Oh, don't tell he actually bought that bullshit line about allergies. Thus, surprising no one, the police are useless! That means the kids have to figure out this mystery their damn selves. Not sure if the killer is psychic or a stalker or what, but Mackenzie believes they surely must be watching them.
What I want to know is, what's this got to do with Horny the Clown?
Well, they needed some hook to sell this movie, and honestly, what the hell else has it given us? As it turns out, though, that investigation that ended is in fact still ongoing, as the police decide, what the hell, more work sounds fun, and meet up with Helleberger CEO Jack Benjamin, played by John Gilbert, and are in fact investigating the killer clown story.
We found Helleberger bags in the first victim's car. With your permission, we'd like to see the security tapes from both Blanca Carney restaurants on the night they disappeared.
Well, that, and they were literally in a Helleberger drive-thru. Honestly, I'm surprised they even got their food. I thought no one was working that night. Unfortunately for them, the cameras don't actually do anything, so he can't help. However, when they ask about the original Horny the Clown, Jack tells them that it was his son, Archie, who tragically passed away some years ago. Also, yeah, he does have working security cams, but moving on, we see Mackenzie and Fisher engaging in every horror movie's favorite pastime, teenage fucking. But then... Whoa now, TMI there, pervergeist. Oh, right, the Republicans, gotta remember this was made when W was still in office. They're amusing themselves at the amusement park where Mackenzie and Fisher are working, which results in a, cringe battle, I guess.
I was beginning to suspect you were a lesbo. Now I'm sure.
Well, as long as the gene pool is filled with bottom feeders like you, I have to keep my options open.
Ew, gross! What a fucking bitch!
Jesus, it's like dialogue written by a first-gen neural network trained on Twitter arguments. They take the little haunted house ride thing anyway, which has the predicted outcome.
Shit, Chad! My Prada is fucking soaked!
I hate when haunted houses try that. It's not scary, it just makes a mess everywhere, and you spend the rest of the day smelling ketchup. Then Horny finishes her off, but only scars Fisher psychologically. All the while, Mackenzie has evidently walked off the job to watch her father try and force down a Helleberger, conveniently in time to meet an old friend from her mother's past, Burt McCandles, played by Robert Curtis Brown.
Oh, so you went to Blanca Carney?
San Guano, actually.
Oh, such funny names. What's next? Happy Tales of the Preschool Gato Mierda? This does reveal that the parents of the victims so far all knew each other. No time for that, though, because Fisher is in trouble. Being the only survivor of a clown massacre will do that to you. So they rush him to a hospital right away. But it was all just a very confusing transition. But now she finds the note about the bush. Okay, fuck it. If the supernatural messages aren't going to cooperate, I don't have time to deal with them. What's worse is she's not even allowed past the police to see her boyfriend. That's because with the prime suspect dead and the body count still rising, they realize they done fucked up and think maybe it's Fisher this time. Mackenzie says no, her possessed toys say otherwise, but the cops aren't buying it, just like Mackenzie isn't buying that her mother has no idea what's going on.
I know you're not as stupid as you've been pretending to be for the past few years.
Don't talk to me like that.
I will have you know I am in fact incredibly stupid. This is, after all, a horror movie.
Could we please talk about this at home?
I am not interested in talking to someone who doesn't care enough about Fisher to speak up and refuses to accept the fact that I could be next.
And then everyone in the hospital just got up and clapped. So the cops have no idea what's going on, and Fisher is on his own, guarded by Crockers, so he just drugs his own food.
You gonna eat that? Oh, hell yeah.
Incapacitating.
Well, this plot ain't gonna move itself, so the next supernatural clue comes from a capsule toy machine. See you at 420. Unfortunately for Mackenzie, she's too late and Crocker has already conked out from the medicinal meat, and no one knows where Fisher is.
Oh, Fisher, what the fuck?
Well, at least we know he's still friendly. He wouldn't jump scare her like that otherwise. She helps him escape from the hospital, which he seemed to do just fine on his own anyway, but before they do anything else, they have to figure out just what 420 means. Somehow they missed that living in California, but there's a local group of stoner ne'er-do-wells called the 420 Boys, and they just so happen to be besieging a local Helleberger.
You'll get your food as soon as your mama takes my dick out of her mouth, bitch!
come out here, we'll show you who the bitch is, pork chop.
Now, come to think of it, Horny the Clown doesn't really look like Horny the Clown. I mean, the design from the Helleberger commercials, this one doesn't look like that much at all. Looks a hell of a lot more like Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal. Either way, he murders the fuck out of them, making for some great content for the evening news.
We've been worried sick. Not as worried as Charles Taylor is gonna be, I'll bet.
How did you?
Mackenzie, that didn't sound so much like a gotcha, but sus as hell. Exceedingly lucky, though, her mother takes the opportunity to come clean about that little secret she's held all this time. And no, it honestly doesn't exonerate Mackenzie unless you believe in supernatural slasher villains, but nevertheless, she relents and points out not only were all of the victims' parents a group of friends way back when, but they knew the original Horny the Clown. But his tale was a tragic one. None of them liked him, but Horny had a crush on Mackenzie's mother. So, on his 18th birthday, they burnt him alive!
Archie died in a fire.
Accidentally, of course. Though them just saying, fuck it, not my problem, and leaving him there to burn to death in the blaze seemed kind of intentional. In case this backstory sounds familiar to you, that's because it's the Walmart brand Freddy Krueger. Instant supernatural slasher villain, just add fire. Either way, her mom thinks it's Jack, but Mackenzie knows better. It must be the son back from the dead. Either way, she collects all of the survivors so far and decides to head straight to Jack to see if they can stop this once and for all. Or, at the very least, showing up at his house and preparing to break in, find the ghost clown, and kill him.
Let's just split up.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Over an hour into this movie, and finally, someone says something marginally intelligent! Which is a total waste, as she convinces him that their search will go faster if they cover more ground, and yada yada, as if most of their friends and enemies being slaughtered over the last week wasn't a clue that maybe they're in a little danger. Oh well, the police are on the case as well, preparing to conduct their own search of Jack's property. The way all the important characters gather around, you can tell we're nearing the climax.
This is what he's been waiting for. My mother killed him on his 18th birthday, and he's gonna kill me on mine.
Well, sure, but all of your mother's friends also killed him on his 18th birthday, and last I checked, none of them were having their birthday at the time they were murdered, so that kind of begs the question, Mackenzie. What in the fuck makes you so fucking special? Protagonist privileges, I suppose, as it doesn't take long for her friends to find themselves murdered at the hands of Horny.
You got a lot of guts, kid.
Sorry, I've seen more convincing gore effects in a Mortal Kombat fatality. With them out of the way, Horny attacks, and the police arrive, but not fast enough to stop the clown, whom Fisher unmasks.
You eyeballing me, boy?
So are we also going for the Freddy Krueger look, or Deadpool? It's hard to tell from this angle. Still, Fisher is not killed for some reason, much like Mackenzie. Supposedly what Horny's been working towards all this time, and has plenty of an opportunity to do it here, but why do anything if you don't make it drawn out and theatrical? Dragging her back to Helleberger, Horny straps Mackenzie down to a happy little birthday party with all her dead friends. He intends to douse her in gas and burn her alive, as slowly as possible, allowing her mother to swoop in and save the day. Or not. That would rob Mackenzie of her own victory.
Huh?
You'd think he'd be used to that by now. So the clown who burnt to death and came back to life burns to death again! Therefore, happy ending! Mackenzie survived, as well as Fisher, but there's that teeny tiny problem that, hey, he broke out of the hospital and ran off again.
It's not over.
Do you want to die, fat ass?
What the hell?
Oh, great, sequel bait. Gotta love that, especially when it's been 14 years and oh, would you look, they haven't actually made a sequel yet. Anyway, that was Drive Thru. It was cheap, quick, and honestly nothing to write home about. It's got a creative enough angle to put things together, but aside from a few points I do find entertaining, the whole package just feels very basic. Just what you'd expect and nothing particularly special about it. The acting, for instance, for the most part, isn't good. It's not so bad it's good, it's just not good. Like, I can tell these people are acting. They don't sound natural, but they don't ham it up to the point where I find their delivery entertaining. They just say what they're scripted to say. As far as the horror goes, this isn't that kind of horror movie. It's clearly the fun horror genre, not the kind that's supposed to leave you feeling unsettled and or scared. For that, it's hit and miss. I can't say I didn't like watching a heavy metal clown chase their victims down while grunge music blares on the soundtrack. The kills, however, weren't the most creative or visually entertaining, with bare-bones gore effects and predictability. Finally, the plot is a nightmare on McDonald's play place. At first, I was expecting the whole of the movie to take place in or around fast food restaurants, but we did actually get quite a lot of set variation. Almost too much, actually. When we suddenly jumped over to the haunted ride at the fair, I felt like we were watching a completely different movie for a second. On the one hand, it kept it from feeling too samey throughout. On the other, it didn't really have a strong feeling of identity as a result. Overall, Drive Thru is a bargain bin flick that I would only recommend to major fans of cheap horror. Without a so-bad-as-good vibe, it lacks more universal appeal, and what few points I did really enjoy watching, I'm still not sure I'm going to even remember at all within a couple of weeks from now, coming in at 2 cleavers to the cranium out of 5. I mean, it's not good, but it's not Alien Origin bad, so that's something, I guess. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado. And remember, always check your bags in the drive-thru. Those motherfuckers never remember to actually give you the sauce packets.